Alright everyone, now we turn our eyes to Canada as we witness Justin Trudeau continuing to be a fucking loser. After potentially taking money from communists and, maybe being Fidel Castro's offspring, actually. I don't know, the resemblance is kind of uncanny, and apparently his mother was physically there around the time that he would have been conceived. I'm wondering if it could possibly be true. You got Fidel, and at the time he's like younger Fidel. He's sort of swarthy, and he likes to do things with a cigar, just like Bill Clinton did. Maybe. It is possible. It's not beyond the realm of possibility. Someone give him a genetic test. Dig up fucking Fidel Castro's body, or just take DNA from Raul. Get it, swab his cigar or something, or swab his other cigar. He might be into that weird shit. He is a communist after all, supposedly. Despite the fact that he's basically a lame duck, and I don't think he has the ability to do much at this point, Trudeau now proposing a plastic tax, actually, in Canada. Any good that has plastic involved, like, everything, basically. You fucking buy a plant, it has a little plastic tab. By the way, environmentalist in me, yes, please, people should reduce their use of plastic. Biodegradable, like plastic bags. It's a shit invention. Use a fucking paper bag. It's better, and you can, basically, if you toss it off out of your car, it'll biodegrade into a pile of mush within a week and get eaten by worms. No problem. Plastic bag, it's like it drifts around like a poisonous jellyfish through the air, gets lodged in a tree, or maybe a dog eats it and chokes to death. It's kind of cool, I guess, if you don't like dogs, but otherwise a big problem. Supposedly Trudeau doesn't have any power because he's got, what's his approval rating at? And I mean in aggregate. Somebody in the comments, because I don't really keep up as much with the polling there in Canada, somebody tell me what the aggregated approval of Trudeau's administration is. I'd be surprised if it's anywhere near Trump's approval. It's very funny. Supposedly Trump's the loser, and yet all of the people like Merkel, Macron, certainly the UK's government, they're all less popular than he is, and supposedly he's like a lame duck who's on his last leg and ready to get impeached, and all of these other people, they manage to hold on despite the fact that they have absolutely no fans. What's he at? Is it 30%? I wouldn't be surprised if it is somewhere in the 30s. Or maybe even the high 20s or something. Now he wants a plastic tax. So basically Canada, which already has an extremely high cost of living, I've seen threads on 4chan about your food prices. I know some of that is probably hyperbolic. They go to some like the fucking Yellowknife or something way up north where, access to stuff part of the year, you've got blizzards going through and it's harder to get goods maybe in. But your prices, I do believe, are considerably higher than here. And trust me, I live in Vermont. Our prices are relatively high compared to most parts of the country. You go to Texas sometime and go to an H-E-B or something. You won't even believe it. You walk into the store, things are half the cost that they are here. I couldn't even believe it. It's like you could be desperately impoverished and still be, eating lobster dinners practically, because of the price being so much lower for pretty much fucking everything in a state like that. I have a feeling part of it's because the infrastructure is more efficient. Up here you have to, big trucks can't even use most of our roads up here because they're not built for a big rig. It's a real problem. Vermont should really become a little bit more business friendly. By the way, to the, what's his name, nobody remembers him, Phil Scott's administration, you could allow a little more infrastructure and industry in this state. It'd probably be nice. Yes, you can still have tourism and trees and stuff like that. You don't need to put up billboards everywhere. It's not necessary. But by the way, Vermont, I think one of only 2 or 3 states that bans billboards. It is nice. Other states should follow suit. That's the one thing I didn't like about Texas is you're on the highway. It's an elevated highway. It's 20, 30 feet in the air. And you're going along because everything's flat. You can see everything for miles around. And all of it is billboards. It's strippers and stuff like that. Hooters and all that. It's a little bit ugly, to tell the truth. And they call it Rut Vegas here because of the little signs that are on the main drag north and south. It's very funny. Getting totally off topic, but Canada already has high taxes, high cost of living, not necessarily an industrial superpower on the world stage, although it has a lot of exports, fuel related especially. And now you want more taxation. I'm thinking to myself with Trudeau, if you want more income to debt ratio, maybe you should just take it easy on the immigration, because it seems like administering that program is very expensive. Didn't he just propose doubling the number of immigrants to Canada to literally isn't it 800,000 a year? And how many people are in Canada? How many years is it going to take before you're majority immigrant? I would think that would be a little bit of a civic problem. I know it might be bigoted to propose that, but I think even if it were a bunch of Americans moving in, which is basically Canada and the United States, not that different culturally in many ways, even that would eventually displace you. You'd just become, you know, US 2.0. Oh, wait. Sorry about that one. Canada is nice, but I know your government's not as constrained as it should be. Plastic tax. That's like when the Democrats here, like, oh, we need a carbon tax. Yeah, basically you want to take the industry and put it in China where it'll be more polluting. But it's out of sight and out of mind, so you don't care. You don't care that 10% of their arable land is contaminated, can't really be used for farming, but shh, it actually is, and it gets imported to the U.S., and it's just full of heavy metals. Yeah, all that salad that you ate, all those Chinese vegetables, really, really healthy. No, it's probably contaminated with mercury. Start a backyard garden and go organic. Trust me, you can do it. You can raise a lot more crops than you think. A little spring house and a few beds, that's all you need. It's literally. In some climates, it's so warm you don't even need the spring house. You know, you're south of the Mason-Dixon line, you don't need that at all. You can. Put some, put a cold frame over a couple of beds there for the one day out of the year where you get a frost down in, like, Florida or whatever, and you're set to go. It's your fucking lemon trees and shit. You should plant avocados, by the way, because apparently people can't get enough of them. They're talking about an avocado holocaust if Trump continues with his border policies. So, you know, you're going to want to run out of guac. Jeb Bush is very concerned. By the way, we now know why Jeb Bush pushes so hard against Trump. It's because of his guacamole empire. He's really concerned about the avocado crops because remember, they said like a month ago, they reported if Trump closed the border in retaliation for all the migrant caravans, it'd take 3 days for the United States to pretty much run out of avocados. And so it'd be like $10 an avocado. How is Jeb going to survive? He makes a lot of money, but he's got an addiction. Needs to fill it somehow. Meanwhile, Justin Trudeau's like, he's eating his Timbits, or no, he probably eats more halal food. And in all honesty, are Timbits halal? Who knows? Somebody will have to tell me. Maple syrup. Is maple syrup okay under the auspices of, you know, whatever religion Trudeau's pretending to practice this week? Because he seems to practice them all. He does this weird shit, and it's like he's total cult of personality. He's sort of like Obama. Just sort of mixing it up with people and being seen with them. Like, hey, let's take a selfie here at the Gay Pride Parade. Yeah, I'm gonna get, like, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes around like naked sometimes. He's like, okay, I'm part of the body positivity movement. Fat shaming must go, so I'm gonna scarf down this lard and, you know, for a week, and then I'm gonna go, you know, on a parade or something. He's the sort of opportunist I would think, yeah, maybe he would actually do something like that. Now he wants to tax your plastic too. Why don't you just have a breath tax? You know, people will slow down their breathing, otherwise they have to pay more or something. So people who are prone to hyperventilation, flee Canada now. That's about all. Peace out.